I wanted we wanted Electro to be serious. I wanted him to be a formidable opponent. Even when I was seeing Andrew I saw him at Chelsea Pier and I said, somebody really doesn't like him. And
I don't speak like that.
So I told him, I said, I really want Electro to be angry. And I actually got the character from something that happened to me when I was in LA as a young comedian. I had a little situation. There was this gangster dude that said, if you ever need some help, let me know. And I needed his help one day. And I took the help. But then I was indebted to him. So every club I went to, you got me, right? And I was like, yeah, I need to get in the club with you. I said, I can only get one. I got 9 with me. And I was like, and so it was just this constant thing going through the city to finally have to stand up and say, hey, I don't want to deal with you anymore. And then it turned on sort of this venom. So I took that character as Electro, but when Spider-Man says to Max, we're partners, and he said it in passing, but I took it to heart. So when I turn into Electro, I don't want to let him off the hook. And I think that's what works. It makes the fight more epic. The fact that Electro is not talking a lot, he's just down to business, he wants to burn the city down, and he wants to get rid of Spider-Man. Well, what I wanted to do, and what we want to do is we want to do 3 things as Max. We want to have 3 things happen. He needs to be betrayed by love, he needs to be betrayed by family, he needs to be betrayed by his work. So that when you see the setup, when you see him as Max, and is it okay if I say what happens to him when Max, they forget his birthday? No? Okay, well, what happens is that we came up with the fact that Max Dillon, it's his birthday, and even his mom doesn't remember his birthday. So you see how you feel? But that sets it up, the fact that he says, Mom, it's a very special day today, you got anything you want to say? She says, no, I don't want to say anything to you. So what that does is that sets it up that when Electro does turn into this guy, there's a little bit of him saying, I understand where it's coming from. So it wasn't disturbing, but it was great to see that journey, the fact that we gave it more than one side. It's 3 to 4 dimensional, that when he turns into this person, you understand where it's coming from.
Gosh, I learned so much from that first movie. I didn't really sleep on the first movie. I really took the responsibility to heart. I took Stan Lee's words to heart, and I still do. So I guess what I tried to do on this one is make sure that I could show up every day and give all of myself to it, because there were certain days where I was, or the first one where I felt like I couldn't get to the place I wanted to get to emotionally, or I couldn't get to the place I wanted to get to physically, or I just felt burnt out. And so on this one, I really wanted to treat myself like an athlete and take rest when I could. And luckily, in this one I could, because Alex Kurtzman and Bob Orsi, with the help of Mark, Matt, and the whole team at RV, had crafted a story that didn't solely rest upon Peter's shoulders, or Spider-Man's shoulders. Alex and Bob, they wrote incredibly well-crafted characters across the board, a real ensemble, and enough to attract talent like this, and Paul Giamatti. And it's a real testament to the writing, and I got to sleep a little bit more, thankfully. The eyes are much bigger and better. You can see more. It's still as tight as it was before. I was able to urinate in this one easier. That was a very friendly adjustment from the costume designer Deb Scott. Aesthetically, I prefer it. To be honest, I dig it more. I just dig it more. I love the first one. Don't get me wrong. I actually really did. But it's mostly my ability to urinate, which I'm happy about. It was just very generous of them to set it up in that way.
Honestly, I didn't know what to expect going into it because I had never made a movie this big. But I definitely wasn't expecting to enjoy it as much as I did and walk away being as fulfilled as I was. I knew going into it that I was a big fan of Andrew and the first movie, and Andrew as an actor, and Jamie, obviously, and what Marc Webb had done in his first 2 movies, but I thought because of the magnitude of the movie, something artistically would be compromised, but actually it was a great luxury to have that much time and for the sets to be that amazing, and with the script being as great as it was, I walked away fully satisfied.
Well, I think that there's a level of virtuosity in his physical capabilities that we really had fun playing around with. And there was a foundation of playfulness in this movie that there was hints of it in the first movie, but like fun. Fun is crucial, and I think the first movie we had a lot of obligations. It was a little darker, and this one was from the outset has that level of play that I loved in Spider-Man growing up. And we did a lot of there's a lot of things that we did. For example, like just the physical comedy elements of it, which are very technical, very difficult. We had a guy that Andrew had suggested, Andy Christie, who came in and consulted with us in creating these kind of really sort of elaborate, simple, but elegant sequences where Peter Parker, Spider-Man, is having fun being Spider-Man. And I think physical comedy is something that's sort of a lost art. You know what I mean? And Andy Armstrong, Cal, and I, we all went back and looked at a lot of Buster Keaton movies, a lot of Charlie Chaplin, a lot of Harold Lloyd, and you look at these incredibly gifted artists and engineers back then, and how difficult the physical tasks of comedy like that was. It was something that we wanted to mess around with. There's a few scenes that we did where we had to do sort of long takes. There was that one we did in the hallway that was like, I don't know how many takes we did, but it was just like incredibly demanding of Andrew. But it also intensely pleasurable as a filmmaker. I think people will appreciate that. Whether they notice